Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Sean.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're the Natural Gamers, and today we're going to be talking about what? What are we talking about today?
Tomb Raider.
She's back.
Reboot of the franchise.
Laura is back. It's been a while since there's been a Tomb Raider. I think the last Tomb Raider game, other than this one, was Tomb Raider Underworld. I think it's Underworld. Because Tomb Raider Legends was before that. It was like actually a launch game for the Xbox 360, or it came out soon after the Xbox 360 came out. Yeah. So Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider.
Origin story, basically.
Yeah, I think everybody's involved. It's got like Crystal Dynamics, Eidos, and Square Enix, because they bought out Eidos and all their properties and stuff. So it was a joint venture between those two studios. And we're gonna tell you what we thought about it. So Ryan, overall, what are your general kind of overall feelings about Tomb Raider?
Surprised how much I enjoyed it, actually.
Me too. Actually, I did not expect. I did not expect to like it as much as I did.
Right. Yeah,
I did.
And I felt like they nailed it. They did a pretty damn good job of the origin story. Yeah,
well, I was really, the thing that shocked me the most, actually, it was a lot more Tomb Raider-esque than I expected it to be. I expected it to be a lot more straightforward action game. I thought it was going to be more Uncharted, and they actually
stayed true.
I mean, like,
slightly.
There's things like, you could make the argument that, like, while I think the main story is very linear, I think they included a lot of cool stuff, like kind of the extra stuff to give you a reason to explore the areas, and they have like the optional like side quests, like the cave quest things that were like kind of like to the side that you don't have to do, but like it's a lot. The puzzles and stuff are very reminiscent of old Tomb Raider games,
and you definitely could take you back. And then the puzzles aren't necessarily
not super hard, no.
But there are some aha moments. They're not like it's.
I mean, I don't think you'll ever be stumped, but they're very satisfying.
Right.
So I guess, what did you think about like the actual the story? Like kind of like just what are your thoughts on the story?
Oh, I thought it was good. Yeah. I really enjoyed seeing Laura progress into what you would see Tomb Raider now. Like how she was when she's older. Cause you can definitely tell, I mean, she's a kid, she's young.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a kid.
She's never done anything like this.
Yeah.
The criticism I have about her development would be like, there's this one scene where she gets like her first kill.
Yeah, when the first time
and like she's like all dramatic and all
distraught about it.
Right, but 5 minutes later,
you're mowing down like 15 dudes, and it doesn't really comment on the fact that you just mowed down 15 dudes.
Yeah.
But I'll cut them some slack as far as that goes. Like, 'cause how are you supposed to have like an action adventure game without that stuff? I mean, there's some things like I think you could have done more with like wildlife. As far as like surviving wildlife, because there is the enemies that you can fight. The wolves.
That's it.
Surprisingly enough, I think it would have been cool if they incorporated like maybe some bears, like things like that. Although they're on a fucking island, so
that's true. I mean, wolves are on an island. Come on.
Yeah, wolves.
You can have a fucking bear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I think that would have been cool. That as far as like the storyline, I agree with you. Like that is my only real criticism of that storyline. I mean, because it adds like a very fantastical element to it about like halfway through the game, which was very Tomb Raider-esque, because Tomb Raider always had kind of a fantastical, supernatural slant to a lot of the stuff she does, just like Indiana Jones and what Uncharted ended up doing. There's always kind of a fantastical element in there somewhere. That kind of reveals itself as the more you play, because like the first half of the game is very grounded in you could grounded in reality though. It was it's kind of more grounded in reality,
because there's periods of time where you're kind of just walking for 5 minutes, which doesn't seem necessarily like a long time, but that's a long time for a video game.
Like
that's, I don't know.
No, and I thought it was cool.
Decent breaks between combat and you not doing anything. Like I enjoy.
And then you kind of just traversing the area and trying to get to the next place, and kind of, I mean, I think would have been cooler if you kind of had more than one way to get up, like a mountain, say. But it's not. It's usually,
especially later in the game, because you acquire new abilities.
Yeah, well they do. Well, because if you acquire the new abilities, you can go back to the other areas, and it'll open up kind of more of that area that you can kind of go through and experience. Like once you get the like bow and arrow with the rope attached to it, you'll be able to make things. Hey, it's very cool. Like as far as like mechanically, I think the game is like super tight.
Right,
like
handled really well.
Handles beautifully. Probably the best, I think, handling of like one of these third-person games I played. Because I mean, even like Uncharted 3, like they kind of nailed the formula, but even that was kind of a little loose. I think this was a lot tighter. I felt really the combat is very responsive. Very responsive. The combat is satisfying and it's fun.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, because in Uncharted, it gets annoying. Yeah, to be honest. But like just using a bow and arrow is just
the bow and arrow. Yeah,
it's probably the best thing about that.
I'd say probably like 80%. 80% of the time, I would just use the bow and arrow because it was so much fun. Right, yeah. It was so much fun to use. I mean, that's definitely a credit to their design and stuff. Not having the bow and arrow just be like this early weapon that you use only in the beginning of the game.
Because you can update it. I mean, you can
you can upgrade it.
Upgrade it, and which is pretty sweet.
I think the upgrade system was cool.
It's like a nice little touch. Like they didn't need to do that.
They didn't need to,
but it was very satisfying.
I think because it added a little extra element and it gives you something to work towards. It gives you an incentive to go find the relics and stuff for the extra experience and try to max that stuff out as you're kind of developing and getting like all these new abilities and stuff like that, like new like quick kills and stuff like that. It's very cool. Back to the wildlife thing, because like like the hunting mechanic that they have. The only thing I would say, like I wish they had done, is made it like a necessary part of the game
to survive. Basically?
Yeah, like so you have to like hunt for food, and like Lara gets hungry and stuff. Kind of like the way Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater kind of had this thing where you had to actually like eat and like you kill snakes and eat the snakes and stuff.
That'd be pretty fun.
I think that would be kind of cool if they because it's fun. It's actually like the hunting is not like a drag.
Right. Yeah, and it'd be a good break from the story just for you to get out there and do.
Actually, when I first started that first area where you get the bow, I actually killed probably like 15 deer.
No, I killed one.
Just because I was just like, oh, this is actually pretty cool, and I was kind of just trying to master the controls a little bit.
It was
definitely
I really wish they would have done that.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think that would have been a nice touch.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Other than the gameplay is super tight.
It looks
satisfying. Super satisfying. Right. What do you think? Like because the direct comparison to this is Uncharted. How do you think this holds up like in a post Uncharted world? Do you think this game has a place?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's... if people, like... I haven't heard this or anything, because this has been generally a very well-reviewed game, but... I haven't heard this, but if anybody were to say this is like an Uncharted clone, I think they'd be like way off base. I think it's way different than Uncharted. Even though it kind of lives in the same genre, this is it's very unique to itself. It does a lot of things that other games do. It does a lot of things Uncharted does, but it just does it really well.
But you could also say that Uncharted took things from Tomb Raider.
Well, that's exactly. Well, I mean, they're kind of, just like all game design, everybody borrows from each other and iterates and perfects what other games have done. And I think Tomb Raider is kind of in that tradition. Yeah. And they it's a fucking just really polished, like, slick game.
It really is.
And it looks beautiful. The graphics are incredible.
Yeah, great.
Some of the vistas and stuff, like when you're like climbing the mountain, you see the big, like the sun behind you or the mountains and stuff. A lot of cool stuff. What did you think about? Do you think like they had set piece overkill? Like we were like one of the most things we did was we criticized Uncharted 3 for having set piece overkill.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess the first part of the game is a lot of set piece, just action.
A lot of quick time events.
Right, and like I didn't mind.
And I think they actually sparsed the quick time events pretty evenly out. Like after the first hour, like the first hour and a half, super linear. It's super just like you were just crawling through a cave, pretty much, and it's kind of teaching you some of the rudimentary controls, showing you what the puzzles are going to kind of be like. And then the game kind of opens up a little bit, like after the first hour and a half, I'd say.
I feel like I honestly didn't feel that way.
No, I don't think anything like. I think Uncharted does like. Similar things, but Uncharted's always like way bigger.
Yeah, really epic.
And
there's epic things in this.
There's epic things in this. I'd say like my only criticism is like how many times can you run through like a crumbling bridge? Yeah, like they do that probably like 3 times in the game, and then maybe 1 time too many. But it's okay. It's sweet. It's fun. Like it's cool. It was cool.
If I ever play it again, I'd love it.
But I think like they like kind of had those kind of like these moments well sparsed out. Like there's even a moment where you are in like on a parachute trying to like traverse through the woods and stuff like that. Like that was cool. Like where you're flying through the air and trying to dodge trees and shit. And then you have times where you're like in like a river and having to dodge stuff. Yeah. Which actually brings up another thing. What are like the death cams? Like the death.
Oh, how you'd fall into the ocean,
or like some spikes go through your neck.
It's actually pretty fucked up.
It is pretty fucked up. Yeah,
I was surprised because
I was like, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty disturbing because it goes through her throat and that's crazy.
It was crazy. It was It's just like morbid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
if I were to say like, is that necessary? Not really.
But it kind of just shows how hardcore. Because that game's kind of like it's hardcore, dude.
Yeah,
it's like she goes through some shit.
It's a mature game.
She goes all the way. Some shit. Sean.
It's a mature game all the way. Like it really is. It's a hard M.
Yeah.
It's not like Uncharted. Well, those are teens. Teen, I think.
They are teen.
This was a dark, gritty Uncharted.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, really. Good. That's what I want. Like I want to see this
something that separates itself from like the Uncharted series, and I think it does. And I think it accomplishes that. I played the multiplayer. I played it for about an hour. Kind of putzed around with it. I had heard some things about it not being that great. I agree. It's actually surprisingly really clunky. It's kind of really laggy. For how tight the controls are in the single player, it does not transfer very well. And if you own a PlayStation, you can get the Uncharted 3 multiplayer for free. Now it's a free-to-play thing now, just the multiplayer component, and
that's all you need, man.
And that is the one to play if you're going to play a game like this for a multiplayer. And that's kind of not that awesome.
Oh, I love when talk.
I think it's fun, but it's not like super amazing. But it's awesome. It's fun.
Yes, it's good.
It's good. It is good. I'm not saying it's not good. It is good. Yeah, so, I mean, what are your closing thoughts? Like, what do you think? Do you think this is a worthy of a purchase to go out and buy brand new? Or should you wait?
Well, if you enjoy anything like Uncharted, you'll buy this game. Because you will enjoy it. You'll play it, and honestly, I feel like I could play this again. It's like, there's some movies you watch, literally you can watch them like the next day. I feel like I could play this.
Yeah, and keep playing it. And once you actually beat the game, you can go back through and go find all the collectibles if you want. Go back to all the areas you can visit because it has a cool fast travel mechanic. It makes that stuff really easy. As far as my opinion goes on like what I felt about it, I as an old diehard Tomb Raider fan, I was a big Tomb Raider fan back, especially the PS1 games. Big fan of those. Grew up with them. And I was totally pleasantly surprised, like blown away. Like I was playing the game for like 10 minutes and I was like, I am so happy about this game.
That's good.
I mean, just because it just felt good, and it felt good to play a Tomb Raider game, and the fact that it was like as good as it is, like is awesome, and I'm really stoked for it. And I think it sold really well, so we'll probably see
be a sequel.
Tomb Raider 2. So I look forward to playing Tomb Raider 2 again.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's an animated lady, but she's not.
But she's, you know what I'm saying.
It's fine.
This game is gorgeous all around.
Yes.
All around.
She's got love. Alright.
Alright, anyways, I'm Sean.
I'm Ryan.
And we're the Natural Gamers, and we will talk to you next time we have something to talk about.